What's going on, guys? Arrow here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some potential beta Pokemon designs back from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Now just a couple hours ago, there was supposedly a really big Nintendo leak that happened, and a lot of stuff is coming out from it. I know like people were flipping out because they've discovered Luigi inside of Super Mario 64. People were looking through the source code and the files, and they basically found an entire Luigi model from Super Mario 64, and it's just so crazy to discover that so many years after that game has come out. But in terms of Pokemon, there supposedly is a old beta that was discovered of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I'm not exactly sure when this beta comes from. I think I saw somewhere where it said it was from 2006, but we basically have a beta of Diamond and Pearl. We've even got like some of the old music tracks from like the champion battle, Cyrus's theme, things like that were like the old kind of scrapped music tracks that they had originally and that they modified into the final versions that we got in the game. But on top of that, the really exciting thing is that we actually have a bunch of sprites and designs for how some of the Pokemon looked like in the Sinnoh region when they were still in the very early phases of development. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, I'm always very interested in things like this. I love looking at past older designs and concept art of many video games that I really love, and Pokemon is no different. I love seeing like what the concept art looked like for older Pokemon, what they were like when they were initially designed, how their designs changed when we got the final product, and sometimes like there's like older designs that I might have ended up liking better. Sometimes there's concept art where I look at the older design and I'm like, well, how were they even thinking about incorporating that? And I'm like, thank God we got the final version. So yeah, I feel like this would just be really fun to take a look at. I only took a look at like one or two in the beginning, and then I was like, you know what, this could make for a really cool video, and that's why I want to talk to you guys about it in here. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so here we are on the website. Unfortunately, these are a little bit out of order, so it is kind of going to be random with the Pokemon that we see, but it is kind of really funny, and I will have like the actual artwork that we got as the final sprite next to them so you guys can see what the concept art looked like and what we got for the final version. But yeah, the first one that we have here is Beta Uxie, and you guys can see right here that the sprite that we have on the right of how it looks like when you're facing it actually looks really similar to the final version. I think there might be like one or two very small tweaks, but it looks pretty much identical to what the final version is like. But we can see from the back of it there were supposedly like these tentacles coming out of it. I don't think that was actually in the final version, but then again, it has been a really long time since I've seen Uxie's sprite from the behind, so I don't know, maybe this was actually in the game, I just don't remember. But yeah, that's Uxie. Then we've got Dialga here, and Dialga, you guys can see, actually looks pretty much exactly the same as to how Dialga looks in the final version of the game. And I mean, I think like if anything, they probably just took a little bit of the sprite and made it kind of more polished and make it a little bit more colorful and just tweaked it a little bit, but this pretty much looks very similar to exactly how Dialga looked in the final version. Moving into Palkia here, you guys can see it's pretty much the exact same situation. Palkia here looks pretty much identical to what the final version of Palkia looks like in Diamond and Pearl, even from the backside as well as how it looks like when you're facing it. If anything, once again, I feel like they might have just polished up the colors because I remember the colors being a little bit more vibrant in the final version. So yeah. Now here's where it gets a little bit crazy, as this is actually, believe it or not, Beta Arceus, or Beta Arceus, however you want to say it, and this is just so funny to me. Like, what in the world is this? I have no idea what they were thinking. Like, this does not look anything like Arceus at all. Like, you guys know what Arceus looks like. Like, this is basically the god of Pokemon, and to see this is what the concept art for it looked like, this is what the beta sprite, it's just so funny to me. Like, this is like literally kind of like one of those 3-year-old doodles that you have where you just kind of put random shapes together and kind of connect them all together. Like, you can't even see like that it was supposed to be, I don't know what Arceus is supposed to be based off of. I always thought it was a llama, but you can't even see that in this. Like, it literally just looks like a blob with some orange circles on it for eyes. Like, I have no idea how they turned this into Arceus, but you know, of course the final version looks epic, but man, this is just crazy to me. Like, how in the world was this supposed to be a beta Arceus? But yeah, this is why I really have fun looking at stuff like this, because this, I cannot see the resemblance to Arceus at all, and it's just really funny to me. Alright, so this is actually here the Beta Gible line, which you guys can see right here, and this is actually really fun as well because you guys can see this looks very, very different from what the final version is like. I know some people on Twitter were talking about this where they would like this to be kind of its own separate like a regional variant type with Garchomp, which I think that would be kind of cool, like a regional variant of Garchomp where it's actually based off of this and it's red. But I don't know, I just think it's a very, very different type of take on Garchomp. I of course do like the final version better. I think that the the colors were better and the design is much better too. But if anything, maybe this could have been a really cool shiny variant for Garchomp. Like having a red type of shiny Garchomp would have been much cooler than the shiny Garchomp that we have right now, because the one we have right now is pretty bland. It literally is pretty much the same colors as basic Garchomp, so I think that would have been cooler. But yeah, this was definitely something very surprising for me to take a look at. Then we have the Beta Turtwig line, which you guys can see right here, and we can take a look and see Turtwig looks pretty much identical to exactly how we have in the final version. Grotle, I think, actually looks a little bit interesting as well. We can see Grottle's got like a whole entire brown shell on the top of it, and then it's got little like miniature bushes kind of growing out of it, obviously kind of implying at how it's going to turn into Torterra, and then it's going to have a tree. But if we take a look at Beta Torterra, we can see that it kind of looks like a pancake where it's been flattened down. It kind of reminds me of like a really old version of Avalugg, except it's just a grass type instead, you know, because Avalugg is really flat from the top. But yeah, this is very interesting. Torterra, obviously the trees are a little bit kind of not really as big, and the spikes on it were pretty cool because the spikes are still in the final version of Torterra, but they really did like the whole face, like they redid the whole face kind of with how it looks like in the final version. But yeah. Alright, now the next one is pretty much exactly the same, which is the Beta Chimchar line. Now we can see right here, this looks literally 1-to-1, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Monferno seems a little bit off. I think they might have tweaked it a little bit, but in terms of Chimchar, Monferno, and Infernape, this is probably like the most identical line that we have to what the beta looked like and to what the final version looked like. It really seems like with the Infernape line and the Chimchar and Monferno, they were just like, you know what, we've kind of nailed everything here. This is just what we're gonna keep. But if we take a look at the Piplup line, you guys can see right here, Piplup looks cool, and Polion looks exactly like the final version, but what in the world is that Primplup? It looks really, really weird. And yeah, I mean, the thing with this is, I guess they were kind of trying to make Primplup look a little bit more like Empoleon, so that when you do get Empoleon, it makes sense. But I don't know, man, Primplup just definitely seems like a very miniature version of Empoleon. I don't know, some people on Twitter were saying that this kind of looks a little bit cooler and they like it more than Primplup, but I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? I kind of think Primplup still looks better, but I don't know, maybe if this was in the final version, I would have ended up liking it more. It really kind of just feels different now because you're looking at this and you're kind of thinking, well, how could this have been Primplup? But you know, maybe it could have actually worked. The next one that we have here is the Beta Combee line, and this is actually really, really funny because Combee looks so weird. Like, I don't know why they have like these big lips. It looks so weird for Combee, but Vespiquen on the other hand actually looks kind of cool. Vespiquen kind of looks more sinister. It looks a little bit more evil. It doesn't look like it's like a queen bee Pokemon that's actually kind of nice and like housing a whole bunch of Combee, but rather it's an actual Pokemon that's evil, that it kind of actually wants to maybe like hurt people or something, or I don't know. But yeah, I think I definitely kind of like the Vespiquen design a little bit more. I feel like this could have been really cool if they wanted to make like a Mega Evolution for Vespiquen. They could have probably used a little bit from this design and make it kind of that into its Mega Evolution. But yeah, Combee definitely looks a little bit weird, but Vespiquen looks kind of cool in my opinion. Then we've got the Beta Bronzor line, and we can see right here that this kind of looks pretty much identical to what the final version is. If anything, they probably just polished up the sprites a little bit more, but yeah, Bronzor and Bronzong pretty much look exactly the same. Now we've got the Beta Hippopotas, I'm not really sure how you say that Pokemon's name, Hippopotas, I'm pretty sure. I always had trouble saying that Pokemon's name. But yeah, we can see right here that the first stage definitely looks a little bit more simple than what we have in the final version. It pretty much just looks like a standard sprite of a hippo. It doesn't even look like anything super unique or anything like that. But obviously for Hippowdon, we can see right here, it's still got like the big opening mouth. It seems like they really wanted to keep that for it right off the bat. But yeah, they definitely changed the colors for it. It looked like it was going to be this orange and purple type of color scheme, but then they changed it to having like the black color scheme instead, which I actually ended up liking more anyway. But yeah, I think that this doesn't look half bad either. But the first stage evolution definitely could have been a little bit more unique, which they definitely did do in the final version. Then we've got Beta Carnivine here, and this looks so funny. Like, this sprite is just really goofy, but if anything, Beta Carnivine looks pretty similar to what we got for the final version. If anything, they just kind of added some spikes to it because it is like a Venus flytrap, so they just added more spikes to it to make it look a little bit more unique. But in terms of like the overall design, like having like the little vines coming from the bottom of it, having like those big flappy kind of arms, like it's still pretty much got the same exact design. Then we've got the Beta Finneon line, and this is always a Pokemon that I actually kind of forget about. But yeah, Beta Finneon, and we can also see Beta Lumineon. Finneon definitely looks a little bit similar to what the final version ended up being like, but Lumineon, they definitely did like a complete do-over for it seems. I kind of forget what Lumineon looks like, but it definitely wasn't black like this, so I know they definitely did redo it. So it's kind of interesting to see what it was gonna be like, and either way, I feel like Lumineon and Finneon are kind of those Pokemon that a lot of people forget about anyway. But yeah, I think that this was a kind of cool design for Lumineon. Maybe it would have been cool if like, obviously when we got into like black and white, if those colors on it, like the little swirly blue and pink, if they like kind of changed colors and things, that would have been a really cool design for it. But yeah, this is just kind of weird, but I don't know, I kind of feel like I might like the Beta Lumineon a little bit more than the final version, but that's just me. Then of course here we've got the Beta Snover line, and you guys can take a look and see right here that this looks a little bit really goofy compared to what the final version is. Snover is definitely kind of a cute Pokemon in my opinion, but Abomasnow is definitely supposed to be like based off of like an abominable snowman, like a kind of like scary-ish type of Pokemon, which they definitely pulled off in the final version. But here it kind of just seems a little bit more goofy. Abomasnow definitely still looks a little bit similar to what the final version is like, but they definitely kind of just tweaked up the eyes and things like that and made it a bit more intimidating in the final version in my opinion. Then we've got Beta Magmortar here, which looks pretty much identical to the final version. I mean, if anything, like what they did to a lot of other Pokemon, they probably just patched up the sprite a little bit more and made it look a little bit better, but this design is pretty much exactly what we got. Then here we've got Beta Togekiss, and I don't even know what this is supposed to be like. I don't know, is that like supposed to be kind of like a cool version of a Togekiss? Like, because Togekiss right now is kind of a really cute Pokemon that we have, but this seems like they were trying to go for like kind of a Latios type of vibe, where it was going to be like a really cool kind of Mach Flyer type of Pokemon. But instead they kind of just made it into a sweet kind of cute Pokemon in the end, which I definitely like more because Togepi was like a cute Pokemon too. Togetic was also a cute Pokemon, so obviously it would make sense to have that line be like a cute type of line rather than having it go from cute to cute and then having it all of a sudden go into this random cool type of Pokemon. So I definitely understand what they did, and I definitely like the final version of Togekiss much more. But speaking of a Pokemon where the beta design looks better, once again we have another beta Pokemon that I think looks a little bit better than the final version, which is Beta Yanmega. And we can see right here that Beta Yanmega is supposed to have like this dark green olive type of color and then have orange legs on it, have these yellow wings on it. Now I definitely do feel like that this looks much better than the final version that we got. I don't know, I feel like the color scheme here just looks really cool, and I feel like it looks much better than the final version of Yanmega that we got, which is just kind of green and then it has red eyes. But I don't know, what do you guys think about this? I feel like this one was definitely cooler. But moving down below, we've got Beta Gliscor, which once again looks exactly the same as what we got in the final version. This is obviously like a very early version of the sprite, but in the end it pretty much looks exactly like this. Then we got the one that I saw earlier because I made a meme about this on Twitter. We have Beta Probopass, and I don't know, man, this reaction that he's doing right here with this this angle, it looks just like that meme with the guy always saying "we know," and I made a meme about that. It was really funny, but yeah, it's just kind of funny because this looks really similar to what we got for the final version of Probopass. It's still got like that really big red nose. It's got the mustache at the bottom as well. So this is definitely a pretty funny design in my opinion. But one of the ones that I think was really interesting to look at was this, which was Beta Rotom. So this apparently was going to be Beta Rotom, which is just so surprising to me because if we take a look at this, it's literally just a little sparky ball with some eyes on it, and this looks nothing like what Rotom ended up being. And Rotom is definitely like a fan favorite Pokemon now. Everybody loves how it's got like those different forms where it goes into like the fridge and it goes into fans and things like that. And if this is what Rotom was gonna be, I have no idea how people would have been feeling if this ended up being the final version. I mean, it kind of looks more like a Mario enemy to me than it does a Pokemon. You guys know Mario enemies are pretty much always like little kind of just weird enemies with eyes on them. This definitely reminds me of a Mario enemy, like kind of like a spiky electric Mario enemy instead. But yeah, I'm definitely happy that they changed this into what we got for the final version of Rotom. Next up, we've got Beta Heatran, and once again, this looks very similar to what the final version of Heatran looks like, so I'm really happy with the design here. I mean, Heatran is always a pretty cool Pokemon to me, so I'm pretty happy with the direction that they went with it. Then of course we've got Beta Regigigas, and you guys can see right here, this looks very similar to what the final version looks like. Of course this looks a little bit more memey, kind of because it's like a Microsoft Paint version, but the sprite does look very similar to what the final version of Regigigas is like. And then we've also got Beta Arceus here again, and we can see here this was another design. I don't know exactly what they were doing, because you guys remember from the very beginning of the video we had like that really weird kind of just blob design. Now we can kind of see a little bit about where Arceus was gonna be like, but even this is a little bit weird because it looks like it was gonna be kind of a dog on all fours. It's got a wing on it. I don't know what they were planning, but I'm really happy with the final design that they were able to come up with, but even this is just a little bit weird to me. And then we've got Beta Dark right here, which is also a little bit funny to look at, but this is kind of, you can kind of see where this design comes from though. We can definitely see like it's still a little bit black, and it's got like the green eye on it and the red on it as well, so we can definitely see that they did have an idea of what they wanted this Pokemon to look like. They knew they wanted to make it black, they knew they wanted to have some red on it, they knew they wanted to have the eye to be green, and we definitely did get all of those in the final version, which looks amazing. But yeah, I think that this beta sprite is kind of a just really good example of what they were trying to go for right from the beginning. Now, one of these sprites that I forgot to talk about was the one for Cranidos and Rampardos, and taking a look at these, I actually feel like that these ones were way better than what we got in the final version. I don't know how many of you guys agree with me, but I'm just looking at this Cranidos right here and this Rampardos, and they just look so much more cooler to me than what we got with the final version. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys like the older version better with this one, or do you guys like what we got in the final version? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. And finally, we've got Beta Shaman here, and you can see that it definitely looks very similar to what the final version looks like. It definitely seems like they already knew that they wanted to make a hedgehog Pokemon and also make it a grass type, so it looks very similar to what we got in the final version. And so there you go, guys. Those are all of the beta sprites from the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl leak. It is definitely very fun to see that this came out 14 years after all of these sprites were even in development, and it's just really fun to take a look at this and see what Pokemon were originally like and what they ended up being with the final version. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think of this. Do you guys like videos like this? Because I definitely do think that there are going to be some more Pokemon leaks like this coming out where we take a look at more beta designs. So if you guys like these types of videos, or if you guys like some of these beta designs, definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. Also, let me know what you guys think was your favorite Pokemon beta design. Are there any that you wish were actually like the final version? Are there any changes that you didn't like? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely gonna have some more Pokemon content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go and follow me on Twitter at @ActualArrow so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.